Good Sunday morning. It's time for the North Carolina Vinyl Picker Show. Brought to you by, I don't know. Brought to you. Beautiful up here, South Mountain State Park. Not a bad way to spend your morning. Good Sunday morning. It's time for the North Carolina Vinyl Picker Show. And on this episode, we're going to talk about 2011. That's right. What were you listening to in 2011? I got 10 items here, 10 records. Only own one of them. The other 9, I used to play on CDR. Remember CDRs? Remember streaming? Yeah, I got them somewhere. They're boxed up in a box. That's right. They're boxed up in a box. I hope you've been enjoying the Vinyl Time Traveler series. Episode 3 will be sometime next week. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a really good one. And I went this week to the Catawba River Antique Mall. That's right. I was down in Belmont, North Carolina. It's really nice. It's a great antique mall. If you got time to walk around, it's huge. It takes you a couple hours if you want to go through everything. There's a couple really good record stores. But when you walk into the store, go to the left and down the first aisle, and then that's where the 2 record stores are. Back on the other side, there's not too much. There's a few little bins here and there, but if you get down to Belmont, North Carolina, check out the antique mall, the Catawba River. And we got a huge water tower there. It probably was, that tells you the history of the building and everything. So there you go. I got a few things this week. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So we're going to do the 2011 first, and I'm going to talk about those 10 records. And then we're going to go into what I got come in the mail, and then I'm going to show you at the end what I picked up at the Catawba River Antique Mall, which was a huge haul. It was a really nice bunch here, but mostly I only paid $1 or $2 for. So you're going to be surprised. Well, maybe not surprised. I am the North Carolina vinyl picker, and I like the cheap heat. Yeah, I got to go for that cheap heat. So coming in at number 10 for the year 2011, I was listening to a band with Steven Wilson, and the band was called Blackfield. And it was a really good album. It's not their best album. I would say their first and second album probably the best, and I have a video of that. Welcome to My DNA. It's a good album. So if you want to listen to some Steven Wilson stuff that's not Steven Wilson or Porcupine Tree, like he says, all this music is my music. So yeah, he has lots of different bands. He did an album with Storm Corrosion. He's done stuff with Opeth. He's done stuff with lots of different bands. So it's not just his genre of his own stuff and then the Porcupine Tree stuff. Coming in number 9 is a band. If you listen to Steven Wilson and you love prog, then you should be listening to a band called Riverside. And the album I'm coming out in 2011 was called Memories in My Head, and it was an EP that came out. Very good. All their music is very good. And their bass player, which I can't pronounce his name, they're from Norway or Sweden or somewhere, and he's just awesome. But he plays like ambient music, and he has lots of CDs out there and stuff. And so Riverside is the name of the band, and number 9 was Memories in My Head. Coming in number 8 is a prog band that's been around for a long time, and the name of the band is Pendragon. And they came out with an album called Passion, not a band. They came out with an album called Passion, and it's very good. It's another very good progressive rock album, and the picker was listening to that back in 2011. I was. Coming in number 7 is Miss Kate Bush, and she came out with an album called 50 Words for Snow. And that's a really nice record as well. So I really enjoyed that one. Coming in number 6 is Steve Hackett, Beyond the Shrouded Horizon. And that's another fantastic record. If you like Steve Hackett, then you might want to go back in his catalog a little bit and listen to that one. Coming in number 5 is an album called Heritage by Opeth. And that one there was produced by Steve Hackett and Steven Wilson. And that album is very good. That's another very good record. That's a progressive metal album, I would say. More like it's Opeth. Coming in at number 4 is a band called Dream Theater. And Dream Theater came out with a band. They changed their drummer and a dramatic turn of events. And me and my daughter went to see that show in Orlando. It was over at the House of Blues, I remember. It was just fantastic. It was a great show. And then there was a band called Trivium that opened up for them that I did not know. They were pretty rough. They were a pretty hardcore band. And I didn't really care for them, to tell you the truth. I think I went out and I don't think I was even smoking cigarettes back then. 2011? Yeah, it might have been still. I didn't quit till 2013. So I might have got out and went out a cigarette, or I was having a beer or something. I think I took a break and came back in or something. But anywho, Dream Theater was fantastic, and it was just a great experience. Went there with my daughter, bought the T-shirt. She got the T-shirt. I didn't get the T-shirt. And I don't know if she still wears it to this day. Coming in at number 3 is another band that I saw live up in St. Augustine at the amphitheater. It was Yes. Steve Hackett. I'm getting all these Steves confused. Steve Howe's band, Yes. The OG Yes, they call themselves, and without John Anderson. And the album is called Fly From Here. And it was a really good show. It was a good show. And then they did the song Lightning Strikes, and the lightning did strike and then knocked their lighting and everything. And Steve Howe's guitar went down and the place went black and everything. It was pretty intense. And it was a huge rainstorm. But, when you're in Florida, it's just hard to believe that was 2011. That's a long time ago. And Jeff Beck and ZZ Top were playing there that same week, but I didn't go up and see him. I should have gone because I've always wanted to see Jeff Beck. I never got to see him before he passed away. So if you're looking for some later Yes, then you might want to check out Fly From Here. They did the album, and then later on they redid the album called Revisited with a different singer, with the guy from the Buggles. So I don't know if you can even listen to the original mix anymore. I had the CD, I sold it, and I'm selling all my CDs. So I've sold over half of them. So if you're looking for CDs, you might want to go to my store, and there'll be a link down below. Coming in number 2 is an album by King Crimson, but they didn't go by King Crimson. They went by their last names. And the album is called A Scarcity of Miracles. And it's very good. It's a very good album. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I used to listen to it all the time. You can stream it. I had it on CDR like I did the rest of these. Most of these here, I have them all on CDR. Because back then, we weren't buying vinyl. No one was listening to vinyl. In 2011, they were listening to CDs. And they were streaming, mostly streaming. Coming in at number 1. There's only be number 1, and number 1 is Grace from Drowning. Is Steven Wilson's second solo album. It's a fantastic record. Did I tell you it was fantastic? It's a fantastic record. And thoroughly enjoyed the record. It's probably one of my favorite Steven Wilson records, if not my favorite. I love his first album too, and some of his later albums. But Grace from Drowning is a double album. So he had a lot of material he was saving up from his Porcupine Tree days. And Porcupine Tree had taken a hiatus. And Steven Wilson was pumping out the solo albums every few years. So Grace for Drowning, fantastic record. I've listened to it lots and lots of times. Now let's get into what I picked up in the mail. That's where I got what I got in the mail. So I got a few things this week in the mail. And the first thing that came to mind was a band called IQ. Now, those guys were an 80s prog band. It was the resurgence of prog in the early 80s with Marillion and Pendragon and IQ and those type of bands. I could go on and on. There's a whole bunch of them. Just check out your Wikipedia. It'll tell you. IQ, this is Corners and 1,000 Days. And this is a 12-inch EP that I got for cheap, cheap, cheap because IQ's music is cheap. Yeah, some bands are just not expensive in eBay, and some are ridiculously crazy. But I was glad to get this. It's from the album The Wake, and you can get that on vinyl as well. So if you're into prog and you want to listen to some 80s prog, then you might want to check out IQ. It's a fantastic band, and The Wake is a fantastic record. Yeah, 1,000 Days. Check it out. The next one I got here is an old band, and this is on the Harvest label, and it's in rock, Deep Purple, but a lot of screaming going on. I don't think I ever heard this record. Well, it's got Speed King on here, and Child in Time, a couple of their most iconic songs that they did. This is the album that came out before Machine Head, I believe. So there you go. It's called In Rock. It's a little tough for me to listen to because I listen to a lot of more ambient music or more melodic music, and this here it gets a little bit much with the screaming, but it was good. It just, I don't know how much it's going to get played, put it that way. Now this album here I really like, and this album I did a special show on my vintage Final Time Traveler episode. The band is called FM, and they're from Canada. I'm sure Jack knows who they are. And this was their second album called Direct to Disc. And I was telling you about how they just recorded this right off the board, or right off of them doing it in the studio. So it didn't go to tape. And they only made like 500 copies of this. And then I thought their first album was Black Noise. And then I went to their third album. And I thought that was their second album. So this was a really nice surprise. And I picked it up cheap because again, it's another band that their music is not that expensive. And you can get their whole catalog for like $20 probably. You can get probably 4 of their records for $20. Some of them are on Passport. This one is not. It's on Dishwasher Group, Direct to Disc. Yeah. So check it out. It's 2 long songs. There's one song and then another song. And they're the guy that used to do the harpsichord and keyboards and stuff and sing, NASA Slash, he's not on this record. He had left after the first record. But I heard that he came back later and was with the band. So I don't know if I want to go into the late 80s or 90s FM. This is a band here that I got into recently, and I have 3 of their records up here. This is their 4th album, I believe. And the name of the band is Secret Oyster. Now, they're a progressive jazz fusion band. So if you like your jazz fusion, this album here was from 75. So there you go. And there's the record. So looking forward to giving that a listen. I love all their music. I love the jazz fusion of the mid 70s and stuff. This is a band I didn't even know of. So this is another example. I'll probably do a show on this for the Time Traveler about bands I didn't know of. And then there's another band called Finch that I really like. So those probably will be coming up later down the road. That's for sure. So then I went ahead and went to that antique mall. Let me get a little sip of this water here. I went to the Catawba River Antique Mall because I had to go down to the hospital down there down in Gastonia, North Carolina. So I went over to Belmont, which is right next door. And I figure while I'm down there, I'll go ahead and do my picking for the week, right? So I went to the Catawba River Antique Mall, and there'll be a little picture of that in the video here. And I picked up a few things. Now, the better of the stuff was reasonably priced. And this album came in at $9, and it's a really clean copy of Live Cream Part 2. Yes, it's got the White Room in here and Sunshine for Your Love and the Tales of the Brave Ulysses. So this is going to be good to listen to. I'll probably give this a listen today. I'm all in on Cream. I just got to get Wheels of Fire. I think that's the album that I'm missing at this time. For $12.98, I got Between the Buttons. And this is a London stereo copy. And this was really nice, in nice shape. I was really surprised how clean this thing was. Looks like it hardly ever been played. I mean, it's got a few scuffs on it, but it's got Let's Spend the Night Together, and what else has it got on here? Ruby Tuesday, and the rest of the songs I don't know. So, yeah, Between the Buttons, I'm all in. I like the early Rolling Stones. I like the early Rolling Stones, up to Santanic, probably around there. The rest of these records were all $1 or $2, and you're going to say, what? How do you find all these crazy prices on these records? Because I'm out there digging them, banging them bushes, you know. I'm looking behind stuff, pulling crates out. Now, this particular place, I went to a little store that I know of. It's on, like I was saying, it's on the left side in the Belmont, and there's a couple stores there that they got like boxes of records, but they're like hidden behind shelves and stuff. I'm just pulling them out and I'm looking through and I'm pulling out records. I guess they don't want the people to buy those. They want people to buy all the $50 records. But you know me, I'm hunting and pecking. And so this one here, I found a really clean copy of Humble Pie's Smoking. Fantastic record. Humble Pie. Yeah, people of my generation know Humble Pie. This is a really clean copy. And for $2, you betcha, I'm picking that sucker up. This album here is a Manfred Mann's Earth Band, Somewhere in Africa. $2, and I've never even seen this album before. So this is a Manfred Mann album that I didn't have. And again, clean as a whistle. Clean as a whistle. I've got to give that a listen. Now, there was Eric Carmen, the lead singer for the Raspberries, who passed away last year, I believe. There was 2 of his records there. They were $2 a piece. Here's his first record, which had the big hit on here, All By Myself. And then the second one was his second record. This was only $1. And this album's called Boats Against the Current. So for $3, I got 2 Eric Carmen records, which I didn't have any of his stuff. I got a few Raspberry records. This one here, I was really shocked. It was way in the back, up against the wall, like 10 feet in. I had to reach back and grab it. It was way in the back. They're $4 each, or 4 albums for $10, so you can't beat that. So $4, and it's an album by a band called The Pretty Things, The Savage Eye. So I paid $4 for this one. And these guys are really good. It's a really good band. I've got a couple of their records, but I didn't have this one. So there you go. And I didn't look to see what label this was on. What label are we on here? Oh, that's right. Swan Song. It's the Led Zeppelin label. They were on the Led Zeppelin label. Okay. Put that away. Now, this album was really interesting. This one, it was $2. It was in the jazz bin. There was a box on the floor, and it had labeled jazz. And it's an guy named Danny Duma. But the people on this record is crazy. I'm going to tell you in just a second. Okay, so the people on this record, Christy McVie, Garth Hudson from the band, Lindsey Buckingham on electric guitar, Mick Fleetwood on drums, Eric Clapton on lead guitar, and John McVie on drum. So all those people, additional credits, those people are on the band, including Danny Duma's actual band. So when I saw all that going on, I said, well, for $2, I'm going to get, this is a blind buy. This is my blind buy for the week. But I want to give this one a listen. This one here was $2, and now I looked for this record for a long time, and I ended up buying it on eBay. I paid more than this for it. This was $2. Barry Goudreau, and I talked about this album in depth. And this album will probably make it to my Time Traveler show. This guy was the lead singer, along with Tom Schultz, of the band Boston. And then he got the boot after the second album. He got kicked out of the band. And then Barry made a solo album. Now, if you love Boston, if you're of a certain age, you would love this album, because this album here is just fantastic. I picked this up to send it to somebody for VCLT. So there you go. That was my good deed for the day. I was thinking about somebody in the vinyl community I want to send it to. So there you go. $2. This is the last album I got here to show you. It's a double album. Now, I've seen this album go for $20, $35, $40. It's Gary Wright, Smokey Tooth, and the album is called That Was Only Yesterday. So I believe this is probably an album that came out at the end of the Smokey Tooth career of the band. They did like a greatest hits, and this is a greatest hits. It was $2, and glad to get this. And then that's probably when Gary Wright went on his solo career, the Dream Weaver, which we call the Weaver on the New York Yankees. We call him the Dream Weaver. So there you go. That was all for my show this week. So stay tuned. I'll be doing my Time Traveler show next week sometime. Wednesday's show is probably up in the air. That's probably not going to happen. I have to go in for a procedure, and on Monday. So not sure when the next show will be, but stay tuned for that. And I'll be back, because at least maybe not until next Sunday for our regular show, but I'll be back eventually. And I have to get out there and get some records next week somehow to bring to the table to show all you great people out there, all my subscribers who continue to stick with me. And it's a little train that's going down the track, and it's going very slowly, but it's making up some room. I'm getting about 6 subscribers a month, maybe 10. So that's not a lot, but it's okay. I'm enjoying the ride, and I'm enjoying bringing all this music to you, all you great people out there. So I'm going to thank all my new subscribers. And like I was saying, support them troops, because we're going to need them. And take care, everybody out there. North Carolina Vinyl Picker, I'm out. I got to go cut the grass. It's getting about 2 feet deep. Got to get out there and knock it out. So everybody have a great rest of your Sunday, and nice next week. And take care. Bye for now. There's Jackson. Yep, still at the state park. Figure I'd shoot a little more video. Listening to the new Nad Sylvan album, Monumentum.